There's a fine line between looking capable and looking like you work somewhere. I didn't just cross that line, I set up a tent and camped out on the other side, apparently. So picture this, I work at a small, boutique-style shop where my boss thinks subtle is a four-letter word. Her displays are legendary, over-the-top affairs that require a mountain of supplies. For our upcoming Enchanted Forest theme, she'd ordered half the inventory of a massive crafts and home goods store, the kind of place with aisles so long they have their own weather systems. Naturally, someone had to go on the supply run, and after a tense, high-stakes game of drawing straws, guess who was the lucky loser? Yep, me. To be fair, I didn't help my case. I shed my work uniform for a plain navy blue polo shirt, my go-to for errands, popped in my noise-canceling headphones, and grabbed the multi-page printout of my boss's demands. I strode into that craft store with a purpose, a man on a mission, and that, my friends, was my first mistake. I hadn't even made it past the seasonal aisle before the first one got me. A woman stopped me with a frantic look in her eye. "Excuse me, can you tell me where the silk flowers are? The good ones, not the cheap plastic ones." I pulled one earbud out. "Oh, sorry, I don't actually work here." I gave her a polite smile and tried to move on. 5 feet later, a guy waved me down. "Hey buddy, you guys got any more of those big foam boards in the back?" "Wouldn't know," I said, a little more clipped this time. "Don't work here." It was like my blue polo and determined pace had activated some kind of hidden ask me for help beacon. People approached me about glitter, yarn, picture frames, and the moral integrity of using a glue gun for everything. With every "sorry, I don't work here," my patience wore thinner. I started avoiding eye contact, keeping my head down, focusing only on the list. I was a shopping ninja, weaving through the aisles, grabbing what I needed and getting out. After what felt like an eternity, I had my 2 overflowing carts and navigated them to the checkout. There was only one register open, with a line 5 people deep. I let out a deep sigh and resigned myself to the wait. Finally, it's my turn. I start unloading my mountain of fake moss and fairy lights onto the conveyor belt, tasting sweet, sweet freedom. That's when I felt it, a sharp, insistent tap on my shoulder. I turned around to face a woman, maybe in her late 50s, with that haircut that screams, "I'd like to speak to the manager." Her arms were crossed, and she was tapping her foot impatiently. "Let's call her Karen." "It's about time," she huffed. "Are you going to open another register? This is a ridiculous wait." I just blinked at her. "I'm sorry." "Another register," she repeated slowly as if I were a child. "Open it. I've been waiting for 10 minutes. I gestured to my 2 carts full of merchandise on the belt. "Ma'am, I'm a customer. I'm checking out. I don't work here." Her face soured, a perfect storm of disbelief and indignation. "Don't lie to me. I saw you running all over the store. You're clearly an employee on a break or something. Now stop being lazy and do your job." This was a new level of audacity. "Look," I said, my voice flat, "I'm wearing jeans and headphones. I have no name tag, no store vest, nothing. I'm just trying to buy this stuff for my actual job. You need to wait in line like everyone else." She leaned in, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial, threatening whisper. "I know how this works. You think if you pretend to be a customer, you don't have to help. I'm going to report you to your manager for this." I almost laughed. "Be my guest. I'd love to see you find him." Just then, the actual cashier, a young girl who looked utterly exhausted, called out, "I can help the next person in line." Karen shot me a look of pure venom, as if I had personally betrayed her. She stomped past me, muttering to her friend just behind her, "You see, unbelievably rude. These kids just don't want to work anymore." As I finally paid for my small forest's worth of supplies, the cashier gave me a look that was 1 part pity and 2 parts "I get it." I just shook my head, grabbed my receipts, and pushed my carts out into the blessed freedom of the parking lot. Next time I'm wearing a tie-dye shirt and a Viking helmet. Maybe then I'll be left alone.
Hey, real quick before the next one, if you're enjoying this, subscribing helps a lot. All right, story number 3 coming up.
All right, folks, Ethan here, and man, do I have a wild one for you today. This wasn't your typical lady, I'm just trying to buy my own groceries situation. This one, well, it went nuclear, right in the middle of a McDonald's. So picture this, I'm at the main train station, waiting on a delayed connection. I'm tired, I'm grumpy, and my stomach's rumbling like a freight train itself. McDonald's, beacon of greasy hope, calls to me. I grab a Big Mac, classic comfort food, find a relatively clean table, and try to just zone out and eat before my next leg of the journey. I'm maybe 2 bites in, savoring that special sauce goodness, when this guy in a slightly rumpled baseball coach's uniform sits down a table over. He looks like he's had a day, you know, just wants to eat his fries in peace. I give him a little nod, the universal sign of yeah, travel sucks, food helps. Then she appears, let's call her Karen because trust me, the name fits. She barrels towards Coach, not me initially. This is cold, she screeches, holding up a burger that looks suspiciously like it's had a few bites taken out of it. And where are my extra pickles? I specifically asked. Coach, bless his heart, just looks up mid-chew, looking utterly bewildered. Lady, I think you want the counter. Karen's eyes narrow. Don't you get smart with me. I saw you. You work here. You were just loitering by the drinks machine. He absolutely was not. He sighs this deep, weary sound. No, ma'am, I really don't. I'm waiting for a train just like you. He tries to go back to his meal. This apparently was the wrong answer. Her voice goes up an octave. Liar, you're all lazy. I want your manager. She then slaps his phone clean out of his hand. It clatters across the floor. Before he can even react, she kicks it, sending it skittering under another table. Hey, Coach protests, finally jolted into action. What the hell is wrong with you? He stands up, not aggressively, more in disbelief. This is where I stupidly decide I can't just watch this train wreck. Ma'am, I say, trying to keep my voice even, he doesn't work here. You need to talk to the actual staff at the counter. Her head whips around to me, eyes blazing. And who are you, his little helper? Are you going to tell me you don't work here either? She then starts screaming, he attacked me. This man attacked me. He's trying to sexually assault me. The whole McDonald's goes quiet. Coach looks horrified. I didn't touch you, you attacked me. By now, station security and then the actual police are heading over. Karen immediately launches into this dramatic performance, clutching her ankle. He pushed me, my ankle is broken, my pelvis, I'm traumatized. He tried to rape me in a McDonald's. The tears are flowing, but they look a bit, well, crocodile-y. The cops are, to their credit, trying to be calm. Okay, ma'am, let's just see what happened. One cop talks to her, another to Coach, and a third to the McDonald's manager who's now emerged, looking stressed. They go to check the security footage. Minutes later, the cops come back. One approaches Karen. Ma'am, the footage clearly shows you initiating the confrontation, striking the gentleman's phone and him not touching you until you got in his personal space after he stood up. You'd think that'd be it, right? Nope. Karen goes ballistic. You're all covering for him. This is corruption. And then, I kid you not, she slaps one of the police officers across the face. It was like a switch flipped. The officer she didn't slap grabbed her arm, twisted it behind her back, and had cuffs on her before she could even register what happened. She's screaming, thrashing, kicking like a toddler. Police brutality, I know my rights. Coach, looking like he's aged 10 years, just shakes his head and tells the cops he doesn't want to press charges for his phone. He just wants to get his train and leave this nightmare behind. He starts to walk away. But Karen, even cuffed and held by 2 officers, isn't done. As he passes, she manages to snake a leg out and kick him hard in the shin. Then, for the grand finale, she spits right in his face. That was it for Coach. Years of pent-up coaching frustration, or maybe just pure, unadulterated rage at this woman, I don't know. He doesn't yell, doesn't say a word. He just reacts. He headbutts her. Not a huge wind-up thing, but a short, sharp, shocking impact. Karen goes down like a sack of potatoes, and I swear on my uneaten Big Mac, I saw a tooth, or maybe a chiclet, who knows, go flying. The place was dead silent for a second, then erupted. More cops arrived. Paramedics were called for Karen, who was now moaning about her shattered jaw on top of her broken everything else. Coach was being detained, looking dazed but also weirdly relieved. I just sat there, my burger completely cold, watching this absolute circus unfold. My train was probably long gone. Who gets into a brawl that ends with teeth on the floor over a mistaken employee and a McDonald's order? Apparently these two. So yeah, not my usual I don't work here story, but it sure started that way and escalated into something else entirely. Let me know if your jaw dropped as much as mine did.
All right, settle in, folks, because this one's a doozy. You know how much I love scrolling through r/IDontWorkHereLady. It's like a masterclass in human absurdity. Little did I know I was about to star in my own episode. So picture this, it's a Tuesday afternoon and I'm deep in the belly of the beast, Walmart. My niece Lily was turning 7 and she'd requested a mountain of art supplies for her birthday. I'm talking glitter, glue, neon crayons, the whole 9 yards. I'm in the art aisle, which is surprisingly chaotic, trying to discern the subtle differences between cerulean blue and sky blue like it's a life or death decision. I'm probably looking pretty focused, maybe even a little lost in thought. That's when I hear it, not a polite "excuse me." Oh no, this was more of a drill sergeant's bark. Ahem, are you just going to stand there fondling the merchandise, or are you going to help me? I straightened up a bit startled. Standing there, hands on her hips, was a woman who looked like she'd gargled with sandpaper and was spoiling for a fight. Classic Karen haircut, you know, the one, short, spiky, and probably hasn't seen a new style since 1998. Eyes like laser pointers, fixed right on me. "Oh, sorry," I said, offering a mild customer-to-customer smile. "I don't actually work here, just grabbing stuff for a party." I gestured vaguely with the basket already filling up with Lily's art hoard. She squinted. "Don't give me that. I saw you futzing with those coloring books for ages. Just tell me where the damn glitter glue is." Her voice was already ratcheting up a notch. "Okay, deep breaths, Ethan. I'm generally a patient guy, comes with the territory, you could say." "No problem," I said, trying to keep it light. "I think I saw the glitter glue just over there on that end cap next to the construction paper." I pointed. "Well, finally," she huffed, like I'd just made her wait an eternity for this crucial intel. She didn't thank me, just sort of marched off in the direction I indicated. I shook my head, chuckling to myself, and went back to my crayon quest. Should I get the 64-pack with the built-in sharpener or the colossal 96-pack? Decisions. I picked up one, then the other, comparing. Just as I was about to commit to the 96-pack, go big or go home, right? Hurricane Karen was back, and folks, she looked even stormier. "You again," she practically screeched, making a nearby kid drop his action figure. "I knew you were just slacking off. Now you're making a mess, putting things back all willy-nilly. What kind of employee are you?" I blinked. "Ma'am, I was just deciding between 2 boxes of crayons. I haven't made any mess." I held up the 2 boxes as evidence. My patience was starting to fray just a tiny bit. "Don't you lie to me," she thundered, jabbing a finger in my direction. "I saw you. You're supposed to be helping customers, not rearranging the shelves to your liking. I want to speak to your manager, now." This was escalating faster than I thought possible. I could feel a few other shoppers starting to stare. "Ma'am," I said, my voice still even, though I was fighting a smile now. This was getting ridiculous. As I mentioned before, I really don't work here. "That's what they all say when they're caught being lazy," she shrieked. "I'm going to have your job for this." "Okay, showtime." I took a small, deliberate breath and subtly adjusted the front of my dark shirt, allowing the white square of my clerical collar to become more prominent. It had been there all along, but in her fury, she clearly hadn't registered it. "Ma'am," I said, my voice calm but carrying a newfound, well, let's call it authority. "I appreciate your dedication to customer service standards. However, as I've tried to explain, I am not an employee of Walmart." I paused, letting my gaze drift pointedly to my collar. "My manager, so to speak, has a slightly different dress code expectation and operates on a much higher pay grade." Her face went through about 5 shades of red before settling on a sort of puce. Her jaw, which had been working furiously, just dropped. Then came the sputtering, a priest." You ka," she looked from my collar to my face, then back to the crayons in my hand, as if trying to compute an impossible equation. This was followed by a string of curses that, frankly, would make a sailor reconsider his life choices. It was quite impressive in a horrifying sort of way. I just stood there trying my best to maintain a pastoral composure, though my insides were shaking with suppressed laughter. "I believe," I said gently, "that you might have made a slight error." She let out one more incoherent squawk, spun on her heel with surprising agility for someone so wound up, and practically sprinted out of the aisle, muttering about deceitful clergy and false advertising. The actual Walmart employee stocking shelves at the end of the aisle, who I hadn't even noticed before, was practically doubled over, trying to muffle his laughter into a box of highlighters. When our eyes met, he just gave me a thumbs up. As I finally made it to the checkout, that same employee was ringing me up. He was still grinning. "Dude," he said, shaking his head, "that was epic, best Tuesday morning ever." For a second there, I thought I was going to have to call a manager on her. I just chuckled, paid for Lily's art supplies, and headed out. Walking to my car, I couldn't help but reflect on the whole thing. You meet all sorts in this life, that's for sure. But hey, at least this one got a dose of, well, maybe not divine intervention, but certainly a surprise. And it sure made my Walmart trip a lot more memorable. So yeah, another day, another Karen. Keep those r/IDontWorkHereLady stories coming, people. They're more relatable than you think.
Don't miss this next video, it's a good follow-up.